Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to talk about self-love. And this is a lesson that I have learned in my mid 40s. It took a long time for me to learn what this really meant, and I'm still have a lot to learn, but I wanted to share a couple thoughts that I had on it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah. I'm an author, an artist, and an entrepreneur. I found a way to heal through art and help others heal in that way as well. I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I've had a lot of stuff that you would not believe has happened. But really along the way, I've utilized it as learning life's lessons, just like you have probably some life lessons that you've needed to learn. And a lot of times I think about the different things that I've gone through and think about like, what lesson did I need to learn from this? And I found myself several years ago in relationships with men that didn't really love me at my core for the person that I deserve, the way that I deserve to be loved. I felt used. Men had taken advantage of me. I gave so much of myself to them because I felt like that was the right thing to do. And that love is selfless, right? And that I need to give and give and give and give. And so I found myself in some relationships where I would give so much that I got in debt over people. Like I would go to somebody's house and clean for them day after day after day, and found myself in an abusive situation. And unfortunately, I didn't have enough self-esteem to say no, or willpower. And but I look back and I don't claim to be a victim, because I was just as responsible for not having set healthy boundaries, and even knowing what my needs were and how to meet my needs, and to really learn to take care of myself and have self-love and have self-respect enough to get out of those situations before it did some damage. So that's a lesson. We all have those lessons. And I used to think a long time ago, I've been a Christian for over 25 years, and I love God, and I read the Bible, and I'm, just love my church family. But it hasn't always been that way. And I found myself in my early 20s, very, very impressionable, very gullible, very naive. And I just would go to church and just listen to everything and just do exactly what they say without really questioning much. And I found myself in a situation where, it's kind of very extreme, I would say. And, several years later, I would question those, and came to the point where I questioned my faith because of all that I had been through. But really what I found out is that I needed to establish some boundaries, and I needed to learn self-love. And it's interesting because, there's all kinds of love that the Bible talks about. There's a friendship love and a family love and a relationship love, where a husband and wife have that deep love and bond, and love of family members. And but it also talks about self-love, where in Ephesians chapter 5, it talks about husbands, love your wives as you love yourself, and you feed and care for her. And I hadn't really thought about this because the teaching that had been really forced, or I had been subject to, was really self-sacrifice. And that if I took care of myself or gave to myself, then I was selfish. And it can be, there's that balance between narcissism and, having really low self-esteem, right? There's that balance. So it's finding the middle ground. And so that you don't go to the extreme, but you're not a narcissist if you take care of yourself. You're not a narcissist if you set boundaries. You're not a narcissist if you, take yourself out of situations that are toxic and healthy, where people are talking in and abusing you, and it's okay to say no. And it's taken me a long time to really learn how to do that. And self-love to me, it's like, it's not just about having a good job or eating healthy. It's also about taking care of yourself mentally and being able to take care of yourself spiritually and emotionally and physically and financially. And when you get to the point where you don't take care of yourself in those ways, then you can find yourself in situations where you're homeless or where you have mental issues, or the other extreme where you're a narcissist and you're very cruel to people and only think of yourself all the time. So again, it's that balance and finding where you're at with the relationships around you. There's a lot of really good resources out there. I found myself a codependent. I went to some counseling several years back when I was contemplating ending my second marriage with a man that I didn't respect and had no business being in a relationship. But again, that taught me some lessons too that I needed to learn, that really that was a pivotal point to saying, hey, it matters who you're with and who you're around, and just to be more careful with those choices as well. And but yeah, some different techniques that I'd love to share with you that really helped me along the way. A few years ago, I was working with a coach, and she recommended that one of the exercises she would do, and recommended that I do it as well. And so I did it, and it was basically standing in the mirror naked for 5 minutes, set a timer for 5 minutes, and stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, and do that for 5 minutes consistently. And I was trying to work through some limiting beliefs around feeling like I belonged, feeling like I was worthy. And so I would also add words like, I love you, I belong, I'm worthy, I forgive you. And I just did that self-talk and looked at myself in the mirror for 5 minutes. And the first several days that I did that exercise, I cried my eyes out. I bawled and bawled and bawled. It was so hard to look at myself in the mirror and say, I forgive you. Because there's regrets that I have. There's regrets that I have over choosing to be in relationships that I shouldn't have been in, that was detrimental to my family and myself. And I have regrets over those. I have regrets over not being able to say no. Like, I gave so much of my time and my resources to other people that I didn't have enough left over in myself, where I got so stressed out or frustrated and easily upset. And, I was a single mom and 1,500 miles away from my family. And so I got stressed out and took it out on my kids sometimes. And, I regret that I didn't set healthy boundaries earlier and learn how to do that, because unfortunately, I have those consequences to live with, and you can only say you're sorry so many times, but really it's about moving forward and being able to say I did the best I could with what I had at the time, and learning to forgive myself and changing and trying to be a better person, right, and making a difference in the world. But taking the time, some of the other things that I do to help take care of myself also is I make sure that I set time every morning to get off in a really good foot, because I know that I need to have a really positive mindset, because when I don't have a positive mindset, then it sets the trajectory for a day where I'm really, really upset or emotionally not strong. And so I need to be able to show up at my best self for the world, for you and for my family and the loved ones that I have. And I know that takes time for me every day, where I need to journal and I need to, read my Bible and pray and spend time getting in a really good mental spot. And I read different self-development books, or sometimes I'll listen to, different podcasts or motivational speakers on YouTube. There's some great ones, Liz Howe's, and there's also some YouTube channels that I'll put on when I'm getting my morning coffee and stuff like that. And it's, those positive affirmations where I'm constantly putting good things into my mind. Another thing the Bible talks about, guard your heart, for it's a wellspring of life. And I try to be very careful with what I have in my mind, where I don't watch a lot of TV, because a lot of that stuff can bring you down. And subconsciously, our minds just don't know the difference if it's real life or not. And so that's one of the ways also that I take care of myself, is I just make sure that I guard my heart, and I guard what I'm putting into my mind, and what I'm reading. And sometimes people question that, or it's like, why you your age and you don't know these certain movies? Well, it's because I chose for a large period of my life to just spend my time in other ways. There's a lot of ways that you can spend your time to take a break. I know, like right now, we're bombarded by everything in the media and everything, everybody getting sick, and the virus, and my heart goes out to those who have suffered from this, because I know it's real, and I know that people are suffering in a major way. But for me to be strong mentally, I need to take a break, and I need to not be infiltrated with the media all the time, because it can be detrimental. And so, it's like I heard a long time ago, garbage in, garbage out. And so you got to be careful with what you put in your mind and your heart. And that's another key to where I can be strong mentally as well, where, the books that I read, I'm careful with that as well. And the people who I am in fellowship with and spend time with, I am careful with that too. And, unfortunately, there's been some situations where I've had to make hard decisions with close people in my life. But it's like, if they're going to bring me down, then I need to love them from afar, so to speak. You might have heard people say that. But anyway, just a couple of thoughts that I wanted to share with you today, and want to encourage you to learn to have self-love, have self-respect, whether that's taking some time in the morning, like I do, to journal, and just have a good mindset for the rest of the day, or stepping outside, getting a breath of fresh air. Just take some time to celebrate you and to take care of you, because if our cup is empty, it's hard to fill other people's cup up. And so we want to make sure that we have that balance, and it's not selfish, it's not narcissistic if you take care of yourself and if you set boundaries. And anyway, sending you lots of love. Thank you. If you want to work with me, please reach out, DM me. I'm going to put links below this video for my social media contact information. Please reach out to me. I would love to connect. I have a Facebook community where I pour into every day, almost daily, different posts, and would love to have you part of my community. You can also support me by buying some of my art. Some of this artwork behind me is on my website for sale as well. And I just learned how to do NFTs. So I'm also in the NFT market, where I've got some NFTs for my signature piece, Freedom. So would love to connect more, and sending you so much love. Thank you.